Hello people of YouTube and welcome to a field with a gravel road on it. I'm gonna ride about 20 kilometers in the gravel and we'll see how it goes. Let's do this. That's recording. Good, my face is exceptionally warm. Right, off we trot. I'm gonna keep my visor open for a little bit. I hope that there's not a ridiculous amount of wind noise coming into my microphone. Though there might be a bit of whistling, because I can hear some whistling in my helmet. I'm not exactly sure what's causing that, except for it's gone when I close the visor. The only reason I'm keeping the visor open as it is now is that I am fucking warm. I've been standing in the sun getting this shit rigged up jeez for 10 minutes. It's 22-ish degrees, and so in heavy riding gear that equals a sweaty face. So just gonna keep the visor open until it cools down a little bit. Then maybe I'll close it. Or maybe I won't. We shall see what happens. Regardless, I just wanted to show off this little road. This road I have ridden part of on camera, but not this part. And last year, it was the video where I was talking about how I was scouting for a place to camp for me, Ailey, Frank and Signe, and of course our dog, Saga. We didn't actually end up camping here, but it's still a very lovely place to be. Very open. Not very open terrain at all, but very sort of swoopy gravel roads, not too sharp corners, and at some point we'll come across some fields, which will be lovely, so you actually get a bit of view. And I just want to be out on a little ride. So last time I entered on the other side, which is where we'll logically come out today. This time around I have done a completely different lap. I rode to the other side of the airport, which is about 20 minutes from where we live. And went up a little peak there, which is full of like radio towers and I don't know, what looked like long distance communication dishes, that type of stuff. Very exceptional view, and the reason I went there was that Frank pointed it out to me. I made a separate video about that. I don't know if it's going to be a separate video or if there's just going to be a bit in the monthly review. I kind of knackered the audio recording on that one, so for all I know, that's just gonna not appear as a standalone thing, but just something extra in the monthly review, because I do want to show off the view and the ride there. Look at this place. There's so much camping space here. Good place to park your car, good place to hike, just absolutely lovely. Once again over there on the right side, just such a good place where you really need to come camp here sometime, whether it's just Signe, Saga and me, or with some friends. I don't really care, but it'd be a lovely place to just be for a little while, because it's just gorgeous. And a bit of wind in my face is gorgeous as well. I hope you can see something, by the way, because I'm riding straight into the sun. The sun is quite high because it's quite high north where we are, so the sun really rises very far and sets very late. And I think we should be okay. I don't think the sun should show up even in the wide-angle view we've got going right now. And I mean, look at this. It is sort of open. This road is surprisingly well developed for the incredibly low amount of traffic there is on this, and well maintained. I guess that's why there's a toll gate. You might notice, you might have noticed in the background when I started the video that there was a little gate to pass through. I paid 70 kroner, I think, which is about €5 in this economy, to get access to this road. It's always a bit nebulous with toll roads because they never say that there's a price for motorcycles, and from the other side you can get in with your motorcycle without any trouble, and without coming across a gate like that. But because there's a gate here, even though it doesn't list a price for motorcycles, you have to pay to open the gate, otherwise you just don't get in. So it's always a little bit nebulous. Should I pay for places like this on a motorcycle? Should I not? Should I just keep plowing on? Not sure. This time I paid, sometimes I don't. The thing that complicates it more is, oh yeah, I remember this from last year. This is beautiful. There's some people here. I'm saying there's people here, but that's not a people. That's cows. Oh, hello cow. Might I please not be attacked? I would like to go that way, if you will allow me. Hello. I know I'm a bit loud. I'm very sorry about that. I'm sure that's annoying. I'll be out of your tail immediately. Right, take it a bit slow because there's undoubtedly more herds of cows around. But yeah, the thing that makes the toll thing a bit more nebulous is that on a national level, on national roads, which this obviously isn't, this is privately owned and privately maintained, but national roads don't ask toll from me as a motorcyclist. I can ride anywhere. I can go into cities. I can do the motorways and what have you and not pay toll, which is why it's so lucrative in summer, particularly because winter's heavy here and you can't ride. But in summer it's very lucrative here to have a motorcycle because it's cheaper to commute on a motorcycle both than by car and by public transport. So motorcycle is a very obvious choice for that reason here. Don't pay toll, and it's an absolute delight. Not to mention that in Norway insurance costs are fairly low, and I mean if you get a motorcycle like this one, take that corner very carefully, it was blind, couldn't see around it. If you get a motorcycle like this one, it's pretty cheap to afford, to purchase in the first place, and I want to say reasonably cheap to maintain. I've been slightly on the poor end of a long string of previous owners with this motorcycle, in that it had done about 20,000 kilometers, 18 and a half by the time I got it, and that is around the time when a bunch of major maintenance things are starting to crop up. Make the rear tire squirrel a little bit. So I had to do a valve clearance check, and at the garage they actually changed one of the shims, I think, so the valve clearance check, even though it was minor, I mean, it's good to have it done. Oh, sheepies, hello. Like I said, take it a bit slow. I'm already doing 50, that's fast enough. I do need to be able to brake when we meet some sort of wildlife. Yeah, my forks. Ooh, that is pretty. Hello. That's probably really boggy, so even though that looks very good for camping, I don't actually think that would be fabulous to pitch your tent on, because yeah, very soggy. Bunch of cars parked here. I'll take it a little bit slow. Some kids in the back of that camper van had a whale of a time when I rode past. Anyway, yeah, so my forks were leaking oil like a faucet, as I said in the last video, which meant that I was slowly losing dampening power in my forks, which turns them over time effectively into pogo sticks, which is deeply unsafe. Not to mention that all that leaking fork oil is soaks into your brake pads, which is highly unsafe because oil on the brakes is like the last thing you want. The annoying thing was, okay, I have come to a crossing. I can, yeah, I know where to go. I need to go right here, but I'm gonna just finish the road because I'm actually taking a lot less time on this road than I thought I would. So I'm gonna do that. Just very chill while I'm here and while I paid for it, take advantage of all the roads that I have access to. Yeah, so I just changed the brake pads just before I took the bike in for service. And then the garage called me and was like, hey, your shiny new brake pads are full of oil, so we need to replace them again. So that was a bit of extra cost and a bit of a bummer, but lesson learned for next time. If your fork seals are pissing oil, instead of changing the brake pads, immediately do the fork seals and then do the brake pads, or do them at the same time. Just handy dandy to know. And then they also fixed a ticking noise that was coming from the engine, a mysterious ticking noise. 10 points if you get that reference. Which turned out to be the automatic cam chain adjuster, like the cam chain tensioner, that was worn and loose, which is a sore point of motorcycles like these, if I can believe the internet. So they changed that as well, and nearly about 800 euros later, which was a bit sour to deal with. Ooh, this very loose gravel, this feels real squirrely under my wheels. I have a well-functioning motorcycle again, which that part is quite pleasant. But like I said, I was just on the slightly disappointing end of a chain of like 8 owners. But hey, there is an excuse in there to keep this motorcycle a little bit longer, because it runs like a dream now. It's very fun to ride on roads like this. And yeah, it's just nice to live with again now, which is great fun. Little parking place, but that's not really big enough to camp on. Interesting. I'm surprised we've only seen one group of cows and one group of sheep so far. I also love how defiant that cow was. It just stayed on the road, didn't really move, just looked at me slightly skeptically until I was past. Kind of funny. And then, after I had service done on the motorcycle to make it run good again, Frank and I went to the cabin. Big long road trip, which you can see in the monthly review of June 2023. And at the cabin, I finally came to the conclusion that I should have come to a lot earlier, which is that my rear tire was getting a bit bald, and especially for the sort of knobbly tires that I had on there, which were Dunlop Trail Maxes, they were real flat. So I had those changed, and I asked for Dunlop Trail Maxes to the tire place, and they didn't carry them. The only thing they were able to offer me were Dunlop Trail Max Raids, and I was like, they're a little bit on the expensive side, don't really want to have to deal with that, that's a bit much. Plus, I'd rather try to find just the rear tire, because the front tire is in pretty decent shape still. So I'm gonna try and find just a normal Dunlop Raid, not raid normal Dunlop Trail Max and bring that down to you guys, and then you can put that on for me. They were like, sure, if you can find it, that's all good. And then I decided to check my front tire as well, because it seemed to be in decent shape, but I discovered some small hair cracks, which indicates that it's getting quite dry. And then I discovered that that tire was from 2016, which at this point is 7 years ago, which for motorcycle tires gets to the end of their lifespan. I don't know what this is. There was a little cabin there, a little bit of open terrain, bit of a logging area by the looks of it. Stand up for a moment. Bit squirrely, bit rocky. Yeah, happy to be standing. That's much better. Alright. So my front tire was old, my rear tire was bald. There's a sharp turn that I should deal with competently. There we are. Not too bad. And then I was like, you know what? Just get me those new Dunlop Trail Max raids, and I'll be happy as... I don't know. Happy as a clown? Is that a saying? Happy as a clown. I feel like the stereotype is that clowns laugh on the outside but cry on the inside. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm pretty sure that happy as a clown is a saying. So I was happy as a clown. I've got new tires on them now, just sort of starting to break them in. And the first thing I noticed was kind of interesting, is that they track a lot less good on a straight, flat tarmac road. It's not that they're unstable or anything, it's just because I've been riding with a fairly bold back tire. This is a nice place for camping as well. Quite far in on this side. But you can't drive really quite far here. I think this whole situation is like 20 kilometers long, which I think I said at the start as well, but what have you. You know what? I wish I could convey this, but it smells so good. One of my favorite smells is the smell of pine tree heated by the sun, because you get that resin that heats up, and it just smells absolutely delightful. And, you know, you can see all around us that we are surrounded by pine trees, and it's a sunny day. It's nice and warm out, so it just smells absolutely fabulous. Such a delight to be able to do this. Now there's a little river on my right hand side here. Isn't that just pretty? It's opened up a bit. That was a big pothole, but I'm glad I've got a very long suspension with functioning seals. It's all good. The motorcycle is intact. I've got good tires. The weather is delightful. It's almost summer. Jeez, summer break. Pay attention, Thomas. My name is not Thomas. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I am absolutely delighted, and as you can hear, getting slightly manic. And also, I think I should be coming up to the end of this road. Another deep pothole. There's quite a lot of those around here. But like I said, surprisingly few sheep. So, you know, potato, potato. It could all be much worse. Yeah, this is the end of the road. Little waterfall on the right-hand side there. Do we think there will be someone here? Doesn't look like it. This is another just wonderful little place for camping. There is some used firewood on the ground there. Alright, let's keep going while I'm at it. There's one more turn I want to turn into, so let's get back to that, and I'll catch up with you shortly. Alright, I think we have just... Just getting the rear brake, it's kind of fun. We've just come to the crossing, the split or fork in the road, so we're gonna go down here, which this, the avid viewers among you might recognize, because this is where I went in and filmed last year. big pothole. I do love functioning suspension, and I also love these tires. I've pushed a bit more on the way back to that fork in the road, and just the way these tires deal with be careful because there's a car there, so there's inevitably people somewhere. Also blind corner. The way I can push these tires, these new Trail Max Raids. Hello. Sorry for the panic, guys. Through corners. You're good. Lie back down. You're fine. I could see them still standing and staring in my mirror. Anyway, finished train of thought. That's a delightful campsite. I can push these tires around these types of corners a bit better, a bit more, not competently, but at least confidently than on the previous ones. These really just feel substantially better than the old tires that were on there, even if they are, because they aren't flattened off, slightly less stable on normal road. That said, on tarmac I can take normal corners, or more sheep there on the left. Take a bit slow through here. That's a lot of gravel, and that goes right down into a puddle. Stuff like hairpins and roundabouts on normal gravel roads feel a lot better. Hello, sheepies. Sorry. Don't attack, please. Why? Like, I know this is a moot question to ask because there's no real answer to be found. But why do they stand still and just look at me coming at them until I'm next to them and then panic? Also, this is another delightful place to camp. Such a good road. Signa, if you're watching this, we need to go here. I know Signa is not very likely to watch this because the motorcycling sketches are out, which is fair enough. Alright. Blind corner. Yeah, it's just the way this bike falls into corners now is so much more confidence inspiring, because on these flat tires that I had on there before, felt like I had to get over a hump. Is that... I was gonna ask if that's a cow or a rock. It was a rock. Let's take it very slow here, because this is roughly the end of the road. Last time I rode further down in there and did a very ungraceful little turnaround. Anyway, Malmveien is that direction apparently, which means ore road. I suppose there's mining in this area, or used to be maybe. Yeah, a bit of hiking further in, but that road turns into basically nothing, so I'm not gonna go further down. I'm gonna turn back and annoy those sheep a bit more.